Okay, so at Omni Local, you guys know this, we give you the opportunity to talk about your business. When you go to some other networking environments, they say, don't talk about your business, let's talk about you. Well, I think what we're doing here is we need to get to know each other's businesses because we want to be able to recommend your services, use your services, build that know, like, and trust. And this is the ideal opportunity to do this. If you want to talk about butterflies, all we know, as you know, a shed load about butterflies. I'd rather know about your business. I'd rather you help us by giving us something that we can take away and use for our businesses and develop our business and grow our businesses through the tips and advice that we give each other. So these pitch platforms are perfect for doing that. If you'd like to have a pitch platform, I think the next one we've got is something like the 22nd of April because they get taken up at this group so far in advance because they are so useful for your business. So I'm going to hand over the floor to you, Steve. It's all yours, and I've just put myself on mute.
Okay, thanks everyone. Let's just share my screen. For those of you who were at the Peterborough meeting, don't worry, this is a different presentation to the one I gave on Tuesday. So Dave, I think you were there. You're not going to have to sit through exactly the same thing. Having said that, some of what I'll show is what I've shown before. But what I want to do today is just try and condense down in the next 15 to 20 minutes 4 strategies for you on LinkedIn that you really mustn't miss out on. Now, most of the presentations I do concentrate just on the profile. This is not going to be just about the profile, but it's going to be about other aspects of LinkedIn as well. So let's start straight away. And I'm going to start with the profile. And the reason for that, and the reason I keep banging on about the profile is the foundation of everything you do on LinkedIn. It's no good posting wonderful posts, well-crafted posts. It's no good inviting people to connect with you if they come along and see your profile is actually no good. So the first thing you need to do is ask yourself, do you have an all-star profile? What's an all-star profile, you may say? Well, go along to your dashboard, look up on the top right, and if you've got that little star, it's good. It means you're an all-star profile. Horrible Americanism, but what it means is that LinkedIn qualifies you as a good profile. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean you are a good profile. All that does is measure that you filled in certain parts of the LinkedIn profile. If you don't have that, what you will have is a bar extending across the screen. And also that means that you're not a complete profile. But go up to the top of your profile and you'll see a section called Add Profile section. Click on that and you'll find out exactly which parts are missing. And that's quite important because some of the parts are hidden until you know they're there, which is a stupid way of doing things for LinkedIn because some people don't even know a section exists. They're downvoted on their all-star profile, and until they look in this section, they don't actually realize what the problem is. So make sure you've got an all-star profile, first of all. Make sure the profile works for you, and it's got to work fast. I've got 10 seconds on the clock there. You probably got less than that. Debbie was talking earlier about how you've got such a short time to make a good impression. You've got about 7 seconds on LinkedIn for them to actually say, yeah, this is worth reading more of. No, I'm not going to bother. And that, what I've got on the screen, is all that you have to convince them. So make sure it is damn good. And how do you do that? Well, make sure you've got a banner, make sure you've got a photo, use a professional headshot photographer. I keep banging on about that as well. Well lit, in focus, plain background. Have a headline that uses keywords to be found in the right searches. And contact information. For God's sake, the number of people I work with who don't have all their contact information in the contact information is amazing. They have personal emails. They don't have an email. They don't have a telephone number. They don't have their website highlighted. And incidentally, you can have 3 different parts of your website highlighted. All of this I know because I work with people on a day-to-day basis and they don't have that information. Just imagine you've got somebody there who wants to contact you. They go to your contact information and they can't do it. Providing services, show clients the services. Again, a lot of people don't actually fill this in. It's not pre-filled by LinkedIn. The areas are selected by LinkedIn. You choose from a selection of areas, which services you provide. But that helps with the search engine optimization within LinkedIn. And the About section, make sure that that first 3 lines, all that anybody sees when they come to your profile, grabs attention. Don't say, I have been a business owner for 25 years. I have run this agency. We are a prize-winning agency. Not at that stage. What you want is to connect with your audience. So talk about the problems that they have that you can solve. Content. There's a featured content section. Again, some people don't include that. The link to your pitch platform that you've done for John and John has put on YouTube can go in here. You just simply need to click and put the link in this section, and you will have video immediately on your featured section. Get recommended on LinkedIn. We all rely on referrals. Go on to my recommendations. I now nearly 70 recommendations. You know how important it is if you're in B2C that you have a good number of reviews, positive reviews. This is the same for your B2B business. You can have one place where you can send somebody and say, this is what my customers think of me. It's a one place for all your B2B recommendations. And I do that. I give them a link to my profile and I send them along there. If anybody asks me, well, what do people say about you? Go and see 66 people recommending me, or 70 people recommending me. I have seen people, incidentally on that, I have seen people who have been in business for 20 years who don't have a single recommendation on their profile. It's not because they're not good. They're bloody good at what they do, but they never feel positive enough to ask somebody for a recommendation. In 5 years, I've never had somebody say they wouldn't give me a recommendation. So make sure you do that. Use LinkedIn. So that's profile. Make sure your profile's up to date and follow those rules. Use LinkedIn to keep in touch with others. Let them know you're still there. And post on LinkedIn. Up to 90% of LinkedIn users never post. You can stand out if you actually do post. Use images and videos, and please don't go overboard with the hashtags or callouts. Callouts are when you actually send that post through to somebody that you want to comment from. If it's relevant to them, if you want to ask a question about networking, by all means, copy somebody like John in. And, you know, it encourages him as an expert to talk about the subject. But don't try to do dozens and dozens of people. There's a number of new features on LinkedIn. There's a bête noire of mine there, which is polls currently. If I see another poll on LinkedIn about what chocolate I like or are dogs or cats better, I think I'm going to scream. But that's just my personal feeling about it. What I would say, though, is please do not get hung up when you post on the number of shares, likes, and comments that you get. I see somebody say, I got 3,000 likes for this, or comments, or whatever. Comments isn't bad, actually, but likes don't mean anything. And the reason for that is in 2021, LinkedIn introduced a whole new concept to how they measured quality of posts. Before that, well, back in the good old days, you used to be able to post and you used to get hundreds of comments and likes. I'm talking 5, 6, 7 years ago. The problem with that is everybody did it. LinkedIn didn't get any advertising revenue, and so they got a bit hacked off. And so what they did was they closed down the number of people a post goes to initially. So you think you're posting to all your connections, you're not. You're only posting to about 10% of them. And then they measure the quality of the post. And if you meet their quality criteria, then it gets released to more people. Now, up until 2021, it was the number of likes you got. It was the number of shares. It was the number of comments you got, just purely on those numbers. But what did we crafty users do? We all shot around, got into groups, and all started liking one another's posts, so that we artificially inflated it very quickly. So LinkedIn have now brought in dwell time to get over this idea. Some of you will know the name, the idea of the LinkedIn pods, where you all come together and all support one another. They're still useful, but there's some things you need to know about them. LinkedIn now measures how long every person spends on every post. So more dwell time, they say the longer somebody spends on a post, the greater the quality of the content. Makes sense. So not all views, shares and likes are the same. If somebody just does a very, very quick view of your post and then disappears, it's not the same as somebody who is on there for a few minutes and looks at it and reads it, obviously is reading it, and scrolls down and looks at it. Those posts may be different and they're measured by LinkedIn. It still go down as one post, one view each, but it goes down as a different degree of quality. So several minutes might be worth 2 or 3 views. A quick glance at your post before you move on, 0.1 of a view. So what you need to do is make sure you have quality content there, not worrying just about how many views you've got. They've got to be quality, they've got to be involved. Likewise, comments after a post may be worth a different number of views. For example, how many posts have you seen where it's followed by nice post, great idea, good, like it, fantastic, blah, 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 blah. That's a pod working. Everyone's piling on and liking it. They're not properly reading it. They're not properly commenting on it. They will be worth less than they were in the past. However, if somebody spent time writing it, and actually I was talking to Grant yesterday, you know, if you've got 20 or 30 words in there and you're really getting involved in a discussion, LinkedIn will identify your post as really quality stuff. So that's what you've got to aim for, quality, not quantity. Okay, the other thing I'm going to say is get connected. Initially, make sure you're connecting to just about everyone who wants to connect with you. Now, some of you will say, oh, no, they're all out there trying to sell to me. Well, yes, that's possible. And what I do is I give people the benefit of the doubt. If within 40 seconds of connecting with me, they've sent me a sales message, I get rid of them. But give them the benefit of the doubt and get as connected as possible. But before you do that, make sure you've identified your key target audience. I bang on about this a lot. The problem is most people, or lots of people, don't have a really clear avatar of who they want to approach. You can look at industry, job title, geography, the company that are there. For example, if you want to get into a company and you need to know the HR manager's name there and see their profile, you can do that through LinkedIn. Find new connections using search. Most people only ever use search to find somebody whose name they know. You can use it by job title. You can use it by keyword. You can use all sorts of things in there. You can find content there as well, just by putting will writing. Sorry, Grant, I'm picking on you today, but will writing or powers of attorney, that will bring up all the content that is there about that. And there might be something that your connections want to see. So then you can read it and repost it. So search for it. Sales directors in the UK, there are 750,000 of them in my network. I can then actually use filters to drive down and drill down industry, geography, whether they're connected with me and how closely they're connected and the company they're working at. It's fantastic. I don't know why everyone isn't doing that. You can also use Boolean search terms on LinkedIn. For those of you who don't know what Boolean search terms are, have a one-to-one with me and I'll explain it. But just look it up on Google. It's the way Google works. But you can get really, really good data and the opportunity to connect to people who you want to. What I'm saying is be proactive. Then when you connect, personalize messages and use information from their profile. Please don't just send the standard message. I get them still a lot. Hi, Steve, I'd like to be part of your network. Well, why? Is the question I would ask. So make sure that you actually say, hi, Steve, I noticed you're a LinkedIn trainer and you've got a free ebook. I want to download it. Thought it was really good. Would you like to connect? That's going to get my attention far more than somebody who just says, hi, Steve, I want to be part of your network. So build rapport and don't try to sell on LinkedIn. Aim to start a conversation and provide value. Finally, follow up. So you've got somebody connected to you. You've actually spoken to them once. What do you follow up with? This is where they've done everything right. Some people go wrong and they start trying to sell at that point. I don't. I provide people with something for free. And it could be a lead magnet. It could be my e-booklet. It could be a free 20-minute, 30-minute review of their LinkedIn profile. But it's something that I give away and offer that adds value to them, that enables me to establish contact, enables me to put them into my own CRM system rather than relying on LinkedIn. And it is something that shows my skills in LinkedIn. I've got some examples of things down there. An accountant that put out an ebook that said 10 ways to save £1,000 in your business every year would be inundated with people wanting to download it. How to take the perfect selfie. That's not going to take away professional photographers' businesses, but it's going to be interesting to a lot of people. Audits. You've all got a huge amount of experience. Offer that experience in audits that people can download, but make sure you get their email address, name, telephone number, and that can get added perfectly legally via GDPR to your database. So there we are, quick 4 things that you can do on LinkedIn. It's a very broad subject, as you'll see. I wouldn't be me if I didn't actually promote my e-booklet. Anyone who hasn't got it already, please download it. It's got 10 tips. I know it says 9 points there. It's 10 tips, inflation being what it is, to supercharge your LinkedIn profile. I also want to mention my online course, which is available. It's 3 hours of LinkedIn training, all videoed, all with questions. And the good thing about it is you don't have to sit down for 3 hours and watch it. You can watch it in 15-minute chunks. The URL is down the bottom and the cost is £125. Thanks for listening. There are my contact details. I'll put them in the chat box later. And as I say, thanks for listening. And any questions?
First of all, well done. Again, some quality material there. This is exactly what we're talking about. Steve had the opportunity to, have our attention, and he's actually used our attention and given us something. And that's what I really, really appreciate, Steve. So thank you so much for that. It's a brilliant pitch platform. I'm going to stop the recording now.